watching episode 4 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Weekly.
We're entering the La'au moons in the Malama of Kaulua, and we're saying goodbye to a week of ho'olua winds that brought cold air to the islands and snow to Mauna Kea. I'm Liko on the left.
And I'm Maluhia Wright. This Monday, the State House Committee on Hawaiian Affairs heard and passed a resolution to create a Blue Ribbon Commission. The commission would formulate a reconciliation process relating to issues of past, present, and future importance to the Native Hawaiian people, State of Hawaii, and United States of America.
The Governor's Office and Attorney General Claire Connors testified in strong support, while most participants opposed the resolution as a strategy for greenlighting the TMT. The resolution now moves to the Senate.
Meanwhile, a hearing took place Tuesday afternoon for Senate Bill 42, prohibiting the Attorney General from subpoenas to nonprofits like KAHEA, the Hawaiian Environmental Alliance.
Last week, we learned that Judge Ashford is allowing the subpoena to move forward, potentially giving Mauna Kea donor names to the Attorney General. KAHEA is appealing the court decision.
We now check in with Hema Watson for how you can prepare for the coronavirus.
Aloha mai. As you may well know, the coronavirus has begun to spread across the world, and Hawaii is one of 7 regions to start accepting flights from China. To better prepare yourself for a potential outbreak, we remind you to update your emergency preparedness kit with the following: a plan for your ohana if someone gets exposed, an ample supply of water, canned food, a knife, a lighter, an acre of kalo, a healthy ahupua'a, and your Hi Hawaii. If you want to monitor the coronavirus as it progresses, we put a link in the description below. Thank you, and back to you, Malu.
Thanks, Hema. In high school sports, a number of national championships took place over the weekend. Here are your results.
Last week, we promised a new segment called Should Hawaiians Vote? Our very own Kamaha'o Madera sits down with Ilima Long, PhD candidate in political science, to hear her thoughts on this question.
Aloha Ilima, mahalo for being on our show. Let's start off with a short description of your current involvement in politics.
Aloha, thanks for having me. So I've been involved in different aspects of Hawaiian politics for a long time. I've been organizing for the protection of Mauna Kea, mostly at the UH campus since 2010. Was really involved in sort of organizing against federal recognition with the whole Na'Iau Puni process. And I involved myself with the legislature as needed. And then on top of that, I study politics in political science as a graduate student.
In the midst of U.S. occupation, I guess a big question on all of our minds is, should Hawaiians vote?
That is a great question, and it's one that's complex, but I think we can find clarity on. So one thing that I like to remember whenever thinking about this question is that voting, electoral politics, and even the legislature in Hawaii was not brought to us by the United States, but was established in the Hawaiian Kingdom. So this form of political participation is a kingdom institution, and I'd like to think that we will maintain some degree of muscle in knowing how to navigate and participate in that form of politics. But it's also important that we have principles that guide us around voting. And so what some of those are for me is, one, I only vote for candidates or issues that inspire me, or that I feel like are important if they're issues. I don't vote just for the sake of voting. I don't vote because no vote, no grumble. I vote if there are candidates who are in alignment with my values and my positions. So what does that mean that I have to do? It means that I have to know what my position on things are, and I have to study the issues myself and be an informed person when I go to vote. I also don't buy into the lesser of two evils logic that is often employed on voters, whether it's a presidential election or some other high stakes election. What that logic is that you have to vote for someone who you don't agree with and who has bad politics, because if you don't, you might help elect someone who's even worse. So you're really being asked to vote for someone who's bad, for fear of getting someone worse, and that's a terrible approach to politics. So I reject that. You have to be good, or I'm not voting for you. And if that means I stay home because there's nobody good, it means that I stay home. And then lastly, it's to understand that voting is one of the most passive forms of political participation and engagement that we can engage in. Literally, it takes 20 minutes of our time once every couple of years. So I also make sure that that's not the extent of my political engagement. Organizing around what our values are, around our position on issues, around our principles is the most important thing that we can do. Bringing our people together. So, for example, I would love to know what the young, students who've been educated in Hawaiian immersion and Hawaiian charter schools, what their vision is of for the future. And I would love for those students to go out there and organize people around that vision and get behind them in that vision. Saying that you're pro-Hawaiian as sort of your politics is not enough, because Hawaiians have very diverse positions on really important issues. So I think for everybody to know what their position and vision is and to organize around that is the more important thing that we can do than voting. And if we do that, when we go to the polls, we actually can come in with more force than if we just go as individuals.
Mahalo for your mana'o, Ilima. Anything else you want to add, Ilima?
I think that's everything.
Mahalo.
Thanks for having me.
Tune in next week as we continue to explore this question.
Thanks, Kamahao. In the spirit of Mahina Olelo Hawaii, we want to remind you that UH Manoa continues to offer free Hawaiian language classes every Wednesday, 3 p.m. at Campus Center.
This Saturday in Kea'au is Pulama Mauliola, a Hawaiian language event put on by Punana Leo o Hilo, Navahio Kalanio Pu'u, and Kaha Ka'ula o Ke'elikolani. There will be student performances, exhibits, keiki games, silent auctions, food booths, craft vendors, and much more.
And now you can order Starbucks coffee at Windward Mall, Makololo, Hawaii.
If you enjoyed the show, share it with a loved one.
Thanks for believing in the Hawaiian Kingdom Weekly.
These are Kingdom Lives.
And the Kingdom lives. Pa'i kalima.